Le Nissan Kick-Play 2025 a beaucoup de plus. Apple CarPlay intégré pour jouer vos tunes préférées, des fonctions avancées de sécurité, un rendement énergétique remarquable, puis même la petite odeur de char neuf qu'on aime tant. Tout ça en plus pour moins. Le Nissan Kick Play 2025 est le véhicule neuf le plus abordable au Québec. Achetez-le à partir de seulement 22 774 $, incluant un rabais à l'achat comptant de 2 600 $. Profitez de cette offre avantageuse chez votre concessionnaire dès maintenant. Jusqu'au 2 mars, des conditions s'appliquent. Détails chez Nissan.
All right, hour 3 of the program. Things are skipping ahead here. In 15 minutes' time, Prime Minister will be speaking from Ottawa. When that happens, we will take it live. And for those of you who are wondering what you need to do with your finances and your portfolio, Arnie Zweig is going to join us at 11:45 to tackle that issue. For now, let's talk about seniors. And on this program, I've been bombarded with messages from children worried about their parents that are seniors. We're getting messages from our seniors that are, in seniors' residences or in their own home, and they're worried about social isolation and so many other things. Very happy to be joined by Deb Schulte. She's the Minister of Seniors and also the MP for King Vaughan in Ontario. Minister, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Elliot. Thank you for having me on your show. Really appreciate it.
Before we get in, because we do have some time here, I will cut you off when your boss shows up, but we have
Absolutely.
some time. I just need to ask you off the top here, for you, in government, I mean, I'm stopping myself at sometimes during the day and I'm saying, my goodness, I can't believe we're living through this. With your role in government and your Minister for Seniors, how often have you been doing that, saying, my goodness, I can't believe what's going on? Have you had to stop yourself to sort of take a deep breath?
Absolutely. I think all of us are reflecting on the circumstances that we're in. It's unprecedented times. I think only those that have lived through wartime have had the kind of impacts that we're all seeing to our regular daily routine. So absolutely. I think we're all in the same boat. We're in this together. I'm obviously inspired by the way Canadians are responding. There are always those that aren't, but the majority of Canadians are responding really well. They're listening to the advice. They're helping us reduce the impact to the healthcare system, keep our seniors and vulnerable Canadians safe. So I'm really inspired by those stepping up. Businesses, volunteers, the frontline workers are exceptional. So we're going to get through this. We'll get through this together. It's a tough go, but we're going to do this.
Can you give me some insight, give our listeners some insight into how it works right now for you and your fellow cabinet ministers and the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister, and how you guys are touching base, staying on the same page? What is the day-to-day process for those of you in cabinet to make sure you've got a hold on what's happening, you've got the information that is current, and that you can pass along the proper information?
It's been an interesting time. Obviously, we all have our individual portfolios, but we're seeing this as a whole of government approach, and not just our government, but all levels of government and across the world. So we are connecting in ways and at the speed that we have, I don't believe, ever done before. So it's challenging, but we're getting there. We're stepping up. We're getting the technology to help support us stay connected in a variety of ways. I'm in a cabinet committee and cabinet is meeting. So every day, the afternoon is pretty well consumed with my colleagues and I getting together and bringing forward our proposals, discussing them, getting all the advice, getting advice from other stakeholders and across Canada, bringing that all together at a cabinet committee, and then making those recommendations that go up to cabinet. And we're doing those every day. And I know my colleagues and I are contacting our colleagues in the provinces and territories and dealing with, what are their issues, how can we help them, doing that also with organizations on the ground, how can we be helpful, who is most in need, and moving very, very quickly, which is unprecedented. But I want to assure Canadians that they have a team that is dedicated 24/7, and some of the cabinet ministers are working very late into the night because they're dealing with international conditions that are unfolding, and we're trying to keep Canadians safe all around the world as we try to get many of them home as well. So we have a great team. We have a fantastic leader, and I think having him come out every day and keep Canadians up to date is really helping to keep Canadians aware of what's going on and what the government's doing on their behalf. I also want to thank all the media, because you guys are doing an exceptional job as well, making sure that Canadians are informed and get the data that they need to get through.
We're with Deb Schulte. She is the Minister of Seniors in the federal government. So, Deb, of course, we know that seniors are particularly hard hit by COVID-19. What's your message for seniors who are listening to us?
So, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. COVID-19 is definitely having a disproportionate impact on vulnerable Canadians and especially our seniors. So they are more challenged and they have a greater need for services and supports. I want to let seniors know that they're not alone, that they have their community supporting them in a variety of different ways. And some of the things that we did early on was to make sure that we double the GST credit for low to modest seniors so that they can have a little bit more money in their pocket. Luckily, their pensions, their benefits are still flowing, so they're able to still have the money that they need to get through, unlike some of the people that are losing their jobs. But it is still tough. We've got those that are facing portfolios of investments that they made for their whole lifetime, and they're seeing those crashing right now. They're down about 30%, 25 to 30%. So right away we did the RIF withdrawal, mandatory withdrawal reduction of 25%. So nobody's forced to take that much as they used to be able to, or have to take out of their registered income. Well, yeah. It's the RIF. Everybody knows it as the RIF. So,
and that is the hope. There is that if you can defer, if people don't have to take that, they aren't forced to take the money out now, they defer to next year, the year after, where hopefully the markets have rebounded.
Well, right now, what we've said that is the intent. But right now, we said you don't have to withdraw. You can reduce your mandatory withdrawal by 25%. Obviously, what we're hearing from people is they want more and they need more. So we're looking at all suggestions on how we may be able to further support seniors.
Might there be a top up? Because I've gotten some messages saying, the unemployment benefit, it's $2,000 a month. Well, I'm a senior, I get $1,500. Can I get topped up to $2,000? Are you looking at stuff like that?
I think we're looking, as I said before, all ideas are on the table. We're looking at how we can help those that need it the most first, and obviously those out of work were the ones that were hit first. That's not to say seniors aren't impacted and they aren't concerned about their finances. However, they are still getting their benefits. They are still getting, their old age security, their guaranteed income supplement, and their Canada pension payments. So those are all still coming into seniors. But I do recognize that there is issues with some costs and added expenses that seniors are facing. So we need to look at that, and we also need to look at their portfolios and how it's being affected. They don't have the chance to come and get more money into those portfolios, and their lifetime savings are in those portfolios. So we do believe that the economy is in a good place, and we are doing everything we can as a government to make sure that we can rebound quickly from this. So people's portfolio in the long term will be okay. That's our expectation. And that's what we're working towards ensuring. However, currently right now, anybody that has to take money out is seeing an impact, and we're looking at that and what we might need to do to help.
What about social isolation? What can the federal government do when it comes to seniors that are either stuck in their apartment in their seniors residence or they're stuck at home? What are measures the federal government is looking at?
So that is has been our biggest concern, is to make sure isolated seniors are served, and we've been making sure that we get the message out that people should not be going and visiting their relatives that are older because they are more vulnerable. And so how do we make sure that we address that? As we're telling people to keep them physically distant, how do we make sure that they don't stay socially distant and that they can connect with them? That's part of the reason that we brought forward this funding. It's $9 million to United Way and Centre Aid Canada to make sure that we are supporting. There's a lot of local organizations that support seniors. We know that through our New Horizons for Seniors programming. tremendous number of resources on the ground that are helping seniors. So we want to make sure that we've given them the support that they need to continue to help and change a little bit the way that they're supporting. So rather than bringing seniors together, which is what a lot of the New Horizons for Seniors money used to do, now we're saying we want to help you to serve seniors in a different way. Increase your volunteer-based home deliveries or transportation services. Scale up your helplines and provide information and support to seniors. Provide supplies and other required support so that volunteers can continue to make their contribution in the community, because we need more volunteers. A lot of people are staying home, but the community is stepping up. There are a lot of people that are wanting to help. And also replace that, in-person one-on-one contact and the social gatherings with virtual contact through phone calls, text, teleconferences, or the internet. And, I'm hearing all sorts of very dynamic opportunities through, and I don't want to be saying one over another, but you could do Skype, you can do FaceTime, you can do this new Zoom. There's so many ways that are able to get people to connect and support. And I'll just give you an example. I'm just want listeners to know that we're facing the same challenges that they are. We have loved ones that are in long-term care, and we're very worried. I have a mother-in-law in long-term care and a father-in-law that is in a seniors residence that are all in pretty well, lockdown, okay? So how do we get with them? Well, we're on the phone every day with my father-in-law, and with my mother-in-law who has dementia, it's been a bit more of a challenge. But I have to say, the long-term care facility has, even with all their challenges they're facing, their activities coordinator has stepped up. He has a iPad, and he's been making sure that his job is, rather than bringing seniors together, making sure seniors are connecting with their family members. And we've been having regular Skype sessions with my mother-in-law, and my father-in-law is able to Skype with her because he was with her daily, and he is in much distress, having not being able to be with her and know that she's, getting the love and support that he normally gives. So having this Skype opportunity has been fantastic. I know not everybody has that opportunity, but it is working for us, and I know other long-term care facilities and provinces are scrambling to help in that way and provide resources to be able to get devices and to help people connect in that way. So just an example of the way people are stepping up and trying to help connect seniors.
We're with Deb Schulte, she's Minister of Seniors, as we await the Prime Minister and his daily briefing with the media. I have to ask you, you mentioned this money that's going to Centraide and the United Way, $9 million. Is the reason you're doing that way and just giving the money to these community organizations? Obviously, it's because the provincial governments, they're really in charge, right, when it comes to seniors' homes and seniors' residences. So this is the appropriate way for the federal government to get money to these communities, is by going through these charitable groups?
It is one way of being able to get it directly in the hands of those that are already supporting seniors. And a lot of these, they are connected through the provinces as well. I mean, the provinces flow money to support their communities through some of these organizations. So we are just adding some more money where, United Way is quite good at being dispersed across the country and is very well known for doing this kind of work. And Centraide, the same thing. They're not the only one, and that's why, community-based organizations that are connected with United Way and can connect with United Way can get the money flowing to them quickly. There are other organizations that we're looking at as well, and there are other opportunities that we're assessing as well. So this isn't, stay tuned. Basically, this is a good first tranche, and it's a way, like you said, to get the money to those that are serving seniors. I have seniors calling in my constituency office. They have money in the bank, but they're afraid to go to the bank. It isn't about the money. It's needing the support. It's needing someone to talk to them, someone to make them feel not isolated and alone, and that someone that could come and bring some supplies that they're needing, that they don't feel safe going outside from their home. And that's why we felt that this time it's important to support those agencies and those organizations that are directly supporting the seniors in their homes.
All right, I'll give you one more question here. Of course, we're waiting for Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. We're looking at the podium as we await the Prime Minister. I'll leave you with this question, Minister Schulte, and that is, are you having discussions with your provincial counterparts, the provincial ministers for seniors? And
Absolutely.
What are they telling you?
I am in the process of talking to every single provincial minister of seniors. I've only got three more to do, and I've got two scheduled for today. So we are having great conversations about the challenges that they're facing and how we may be able to help, and sharing across the provinces as well, ideas that each are bringing forward that they've been able to do to help things. So it's about sharing, it's about coming together, and definitely I've been making those phone calls and we've been having excellent conversations. Everyone's very grateful for the outreach and connections that we're all doing.
Is there a common thread about what they're asking for?
It's really about trying to find the most effective way to support it, because we're all talking about seniors on these calls, how to best support seniors. And I think many of them raise the issue, and this is why we brought this funding forward, raise the issue that they have great organizations on the ground that are already serving seniors. They just needed a bit more help to do that better in the environment that we're in today.
And one last thing on the subject of seniors' homes where we've seen outbreaks. That seems to be a very big concern, because once COVID-19 is discovered in a senior's residence, it seems like it spreads quickly, and then the caregivers get it as well. So is there anything that you're looking at, special measures when it comes to seniors' homes and outbreaks?
So the measures for the seniors' homes are something that the public health is looking very closely at, and it's the public health of each province that's responsible and that is in charge of that. All provinces are sharing that information and what we're learning, and obviously Teresa Tam, the public health, the lady that's in charge of our public health for Canada, is monitoring this very closely, and they're all sharing their best practices and lessons that were learned through SARS, and we're working hard to make sure that there is very important protocols in place. That is why most moved very quickly to lock down these locations so that they weren't having visitors coming and bringing it in. However, there are my heart and my prayers go out to all those that are dealing with this crisis, especially in long-term cares and facilities, and those that have lost loved ones. It is a very, very tragic and difficult situation, but that's why they moved quickly. Even though family members were frustrated at the speed at which the lockdowns occurred, it was the right thing to do, and obviously protocols are very important to make sure that we keep them safe. And even with those protocols, there have been obviously situations where COVID-19 is being seen and it is having a devastating effect. So, but really public health is in charge of this, and they are looking at it very closely and working with all the provinces to make sure that we are doing the very best to keep our seniors safe in long-term care.
Minister Schulte, you've been very generous with your time. I sort of was thinking, okay, it'll go maybe a couple of minutes longer as we wait. Your boss, the Prime Minister, that is extended much longer than that. So I will let you go because you've already given us so much of your time. I really do appreciate it. And right on cue, there's your boss. It's the Prime Minister.
I really appreciate this. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.